They're flowers, right?
Yup, they are flowers.
Okay. That nice and easy. Okay, I like it.
Yeah, man.
Why flowers?
No particular reason, man. They are cool. Flowers are cool, man.
Okay.
Never go out of style. They'll never go out of style.
Welcome to the 140th episode of the Cast That Ends Creation. I'm here as Chris Deering. This is the show where I interview bands and public figures from the mathcore adjacent communities. If you enjoy this content, please like, subscribe, do all the things social. Every little bit helps, and feel free to join us every Sunday and Wednesday for the live cast where you can interact with the guests or just hang out in the chat. You can also subscribe to this Twitch channel for just $5 to get access to the interviews before they hit YouTube and other streaming services, as well as get some exclusive emotes. You can also do that for free by attaching Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. It's like taking $5 from Jeff Bezos' pocket and putting it into mine. With that out of the way, let me introduce our guest today who dropped their debut EP, Weak Neediness, last month. Welcome in Josiah Ranpal of That's Not Self-Care. That's not Is it self-help or self-care?
Self-help. It's
Self-help.
self-help.
Okay, I messed up in my notes. My bad. I am so sorry. But how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for having me on your show, man.
Dude,
Means a
absolutely.
lot.
Thank you so much for coming on. Just to be clear, you're the sole member of That's Not Self-Help, right?
Yup, that is correct.
Alrighty. And how did you get to this point in your career? How did you get started playing music and decide to start this project up?
Well, I guess I was born into a musical family. My dad himself plays guitar and bass and stuff, and he's really interested in jazz fusion and prog, stuff like that. So I always had that sort of music playing around me. And as I started getting older, I got into more heavier genres like punk and metal and even some electronic stuff. So that's how I got started. And speaking of that's not self-help, I guess I start like it officially came into existence last year during June, if I'm not wrong. I released a demo last year, and I have obviously, as I stated, I grew up listening to like fusion and stuff, so I always was into like improvising and stuff. At the same time, I'm really into like riffy music, as I stated earlier. So I wanted to kind of like strike a balance between like playing riffs and having some improv parts. So
Okay.
that's
Okay.
it.
So why just do this by yourself? Why didn't you bring other people in at the start of the project?
Dude, I'm from a place in India called Sikkim, which is a small state. And well, it's pretty hard to find musicians who play this kind of music.
Right.
And I guess I call it jazzcore because my main two primary influences are like jazz and mathcore. So
Okay.
I mean, like, there is literally no scene for both of that stuff. Like, I know a few people who listen to that stuff, but uh, back when I started, like, I didn't like when I was listening to all of that stuff before, I literally didn't know anyone, who played this stuff.
Right. Right.
So,
I'm even in more of a
but
populated area, more of an area where this is like a major thing, and I can't find people that play this kind of music. So I can just imagine how it is in India.
yeah, man. But thankfully, there are a few good bands like Man Eating Orchid, and there's another band called Death by Fungi. They do this whole mathcore thing some justice, I would say.
Oh yeah, dude, that's awesome. I'm glad to see like that stuff like popping off in. Um, so would you be open to other people joining the project though?
Of course, man. Actually, I'm glad you mentioned it. In the nearby future, I'm thinking of like expanding That's Not Self Help into a trio,
Oh yeah.
kind of like an organ trio, like a good drummer and, if possible, a good piano player.
Oh yeah, that'd
So
be
hopefully,
awesome.
I'm thinking of doing that, man. Like a lot of improvising going on. That's what I have in my head, man, as
Okay.
of now.
Are you like auditioning people now, or like how it like? Are you talking to people now about joining?
Yeah, man, I'm talking to a really good drummer that I know.
Okay.
So, and I'm yet to find a good key player. But
Okay.
but hopefully I'll get someone.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good.
Just
Um.
one big problem. I'm sorry, if you want, you can
No, you good. Keep
ask the
going. Keep
opening.
going. What's up?
All right. So I was saying that you know in India, like you live in the States, right? If I'm not wrong.
Mhm.
So if you guys usually have members from different parts of the states, right? Like for example, a guy from maybe New York as a member from Texas or something. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah.
Like
There's some bands like that, yeah.
like in India, it's pretty tough, man. Like just to get from Sikkim to some other place, you have to get in a flight and stuff. So it's quite hectic. So
Mm.
that's why I try my best to find members from Sikkim itself.
Right, right. Well, the way that stuff works here, because like you'd have to be on a plane too to meet in person from like Texas to New York, right? So a lot of people do stuff like over the internet, and then like we'll come together to do like a tour or something like that. So maybe that's something that you want to look into as well. But it seems like you want to do more like local shows and stuff like that. Is that right?
Yeah, man. As of now, yes, I want to do some local shows, man.
Okay, okay. So some of your influences are obvious, just like any mathy act. There's a Dillinger-esque sound. But for you specifically, I would say that Psyopus has to be like a main influence for you. Not just because you play like techie, like grindy kind of stuff, but like the way you play guitar, like the way that your technique and stuff. For instance, on the song "Weak Neediness." There's a part on there. I guess you just call it a riff or whatever, but it sounds very similar to a Psyopus song, Siobani's song. The I can't like do it with my mouth, like the way it sounds.
I heard
But
that song. I know what you're talking
you know
about.
what I'm talking about. Then okay, cool. So Psyopus is a big influence on you.
Of course, man. Chris Harp is a legend, man. Like like I was doing all of this. That's not self promo. Like I was promoting all of that stuff. In Mathcore Index community, I promoted it as well. And Chris commented. He said something like, "Holy shit, this sounds amazing, man."
Oh, that's
I
fucking
was like,
sick.
so yeah, I was so happy, and like he doesn't know how much I practiced. I tried to learn his licks and stuff, back in the day.
Dude, hell yeah! I took a lot of influence from him too, just watching like the videos on YouTube and trying to copy what he was doing and stuff. So yeah, that's awesome to meet that into. Well,
Yeah, man.
um, what are your other like big influences on the sound?
Other big influences, man. I guess my primary influences has to be from like the jazz fusion world. As far as like guitar playing is concerned, like I am a huge fan of musicians like John McLaughlin and Al Di Meola, Alan Allsworth, of course. Players like that who are like masters of their instruments. Like when it comes to improvising and stuff, like nothing compares, in my opinion. So that's there. Plus, in this EP, I was influenced by a lot of different genres. Like as you stated earlier, the song "Weak Neediness." The intro bit is kind of influenced by shoegaze bands as well. Like My Bloody Valentine and stuff.
Okay.
So that's there, man.
Um, your demo, it was much more like hardcore influenced than the EP. Why did you change the sound so much? Because it was very metallic, like your demo was compared to the EP.
What would it be? I don't know, man. I guess it just happened.
Okay.
I cannot explain that. But definitely, back then I was listening to bands like Disrupt and stuff, and I guess there's some crushed punk influence to it, I guess. So I really like that. Obviously, bands like Agnostic Front and stuff, Cro-Mags, Minor Threat, stuff like that. I'm heavily influenced by that, man.
Okay.
Like really, really. Like even back when the reason why I got into like this whole hardcore thing was due to like straight edge and stuff, because back then, my friends were experimenting with all sorts of stuff, like every teenager would, I guess. But I never kind of got into that whole scene. So when I discovered Minor Threat, it kind of like I really related to the lyrics. So
Yeah. Okay, interesting. Well, so do you think that you're going to be bringing that more hardcore like sound back into the music, or are you trying to stay the more like jazz fusiony improvisation kind of stuff?
well, bro, I guess I'm just trying to strike a balance between the two,
Yeah.
because I I like a whole lot of genres. You know what I'm saying? Equally, I don't think like hardcore is superior than, let's say, something like jazz or something. I
Right.
just like everything, equally. So I play all sorts of genres, whether
Oh
it
yeah.
be punk or mathcore or jazz. I just like playing the guitar, and these days I'm playing more keyboards as well. So
Nice. I like that.
hopefully,
Just keeping the door open to all the possibilities.
yeah, dude. Of course, man.
Um. So how does writing a song work for you? Being by yourself, like, do you start with the guitar, just like messing around on there and starting to come up with some kind of like form, or how do you get started into this?
Well, whenever I play, I have something in my head. Like I have one idea, like a small motif. And then I play that motif over and over again, and somehow the next series of notes come falls naturally into place. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that's it. And sometimes, like most people, you have like an entire 30 seconds in your head or something, and then you just have to play it on your instrument. So
Right, right. Sometimes all that stuff just
yeah,
comes to you naturally, like
yeah,
just
dude.
this
Like,
crazy source of inspiration. So you start
yeah,
with the
dude. Like,
guitar first, then.
yeah, dude. Mostly I start off with the guitar. Yes. Like for example, I guess the track sequence in 29. I guess it was heavily influenced by an Indian musician named Trilok Gurtu, who also performed with John McLaughlin. He's a legend within he's a legend within like the Indian jazz scene, like within the Indian jazz circuit. So it was heavily influenced by him. So I started out that song randomly tapping out the rhythm in a desk. So that's there. It's called Sequence in 29 because it's also because the time signature is in 29/4. So
What the fuck? It's a crazy time signature. That's awesome. Man. Do you like intentionally set out to do stuff like that? Like, oh, this song's gonna be in 29/4.
nah, man, it all, as I said earlier, sometimes it comes naturally, and sometimes I try to do some wacky stuff like that.
Okay, that's awesome. Uh,
But dude, that song Sequence in 29, dude, it came all naturally, man. I didn't do it intentionally.
okay, okay.
That's
Um,
it.
your Bandcamp was saying that the drums are programmed. So, what
Yep.
what kind of program do you use for that?
Well, I use this software called MT Power Kit.
Okay, I haven't heard of that one before, but they sound good. They sound very natural.
Thank you, man. It's a
And
free software.
oh, it's a free software. Dang, and it sounds that good. Holy crap, that's awesome. What was it called again?
MT Power Kit. You should check it out, man.
Pocket.
Power Kit. Power Kit.
Oh, Power Kit. Power Kit.
Yep.
That's awesome, dude. Because those sound really, really good. That's crazy. What about the keyboards? Are you playing the keyboard, or is it are you doing MIDI?
Yeah, dude, I'm playing for the most part. But when like if there's like some technical part,
Mhm.
I kind of currently I don't have the technical capabilities to do it. So some
Right.
of it I use piano rules for it, like
Okay.
within the software. But like when I'm improvising and there's this walking bass section and stuff like that, like comping behind the improvised guitar leads and stuff, that
Okay.
part I played by myself. Stuff like that. The little stuff, the easier bits I did it myself.
Well, it all sounds great, man. It all sounds like supernatural, and yeah. Honestly, I think that your EP is amazing, and that this is a sound that needs to be explored more. You know what I mean? Listening to your stuff, it inspires me to actually do some more shit. So yeah, I think what you're doing is really awesome.
Thank you, man. Means a lot.
So your music is instrumental. Why no vocals?
Well, the first reason would be, I guess, when I started That's Not Self-Help, obviously I'm not a good singer, so I didn't want to do vocals in the first place. But later on, I realized, there aren't a lot many instrumental bands, like
Mm,
from my place, from Sikkim. So I thought, I kind of like it, it's something different, So
okay.
so that's why I want to continue it as an instrumental project, like maybe in some songs I might feature a singer, hopefully. But mostly primarily I want it to be an instrumental project, man.
Okay. I feel like you don't necessarily need vocals in your music, but I don't know. Like I always feel like any band benefits from vocals, but like yours is very strong without vocals. Like,
Thank you, man.
I think it's great. So was this all self-recorded?
Yep, self-recorded in my
You did
bedroom.
the mixing and mastering too?
Yep.
Dude, that's awesome, man. It sounds really good for doing that stuff on your own. Um,
Thanks, man.
is there like a plugin that's like super important for your sound?
Well, I use Guitar Rig 5 to record most of the guitar parts, you know. And
Okay.
for my keyboards, I used all of the presets available in Cubase 5, you know. I use Cubase 5 to record all of my stuff, so it has some good
Okay.
tones, you know, like good sounds, you know, for e-piano and stuff.
Right. I mean, like I said, dude, your stuff sounds really good. Like, especially for doing it by yourself.
Thank
Like,
you, man.
that's insane. So, we got the artwork up on screen now. Who did the artwork?
Dude, I literally did that on my phone.
On your phone? Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was kind of going for that 90s screamo kind of an album art, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. They're flowers, right?
Yep, they are flowers.
Okay. Okay. That nice and easy. Okay, I like it.
Yeah, man.
Why flowers?
No particular reason, man. They are cool. Flowers are cool, man.
Okay.
Never go out of style. They'll never go out of style.
Uh, so what's next for you? Are you currently working on any new music or anything? I guess you're
Well,
trying to get a band together, but besides that,
but besides that, well, you know, I have currently started writing some new riffs and stuff. So hopefully, you know, I cannot definitely say that the next release will have a full band or something, you know. But hopefully, you know, hopefully, I'm hoping that with a band I'll do the whole thing. We'll
okay.
see. But hopefully, the next project might just be me again.
Hey, either way,
And
it'd be welcome. Either way, it'd be welcome.
yeah,
Have you ever thought about just playing shows by yourself?
playing shows by myself. Yeah, sometimes I think about it, man. But playing with a band, in my opinion, it's a completely different ballpark. You know, you can have some fun. Plus, if you
Right.
screw up, you can always blame the other guy.
There you go. Well, also you're doing a lot of like improvisational stuff, right? So like it'd
Yeah,
be kind of hard to do it by yourself then, right? Like with a backing
exactly.
track or whatever.
Yeah, man. Like imagine, man, the lines are different every time, but the backing track is always the same. Not
Right.
not so impressive, not so impressive. Plus, you know, I grew up playing in the church and stuff, so that's how I kind of developed my improvisational style, you know. So that's also there.
Okay. Uh, so let's see here. How's the reception been to your music? Being like from India or whatever, do you feel like that it's helping you any, or is it a big detriment? How's that? How's that for you?
Well, I don't know that, man, but being from India, you know, people do definitely treat you different, you know, like they get all surprised and stuff. You know how it goes.
Right.
So that's the plus, you know, there are not a lot of bands from India doing this style of music. Like I don't know what exactly to call it. I just like to call it jazzcore because as I'm influenced by jazz and mathcore and all that stuff. Plus, you know, there are jazzcore bands like Naked City and Zoo, all great bands.
Right. Is there
So
a jazz scene in India?
jazz definitely, man. There's like a jazz scene in India,
Okay.
and it has been there since a long time. But you know how it is, man. Like jazz musicians don't really think punk is some good music. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You know how it goes. Like
Have
they think
you
jazz is.
like tried to introduce like your music and stuff into like the jazz community in India?
I'm I'm definitely working on it, man. I'm definitely working on it.
Okay. Um. So yeah. Don't really have too much else to say. I guess we could talk about your album of the year for last year. Did anything like pique your interest?
Album of the year, man. John McLaughlin released one album called Liberation Time, and which is really cool, man. The guy is like 80 years old or something, and you know he still rips. He still rips, man. He still rips.
Oh yeah.
You cannot deny that. And another one I really liked is obviously Man Eating Orchid's Hive Mind.
Right.
which I'm sure you have heard, man.
Oh
Nothing
yeah,
compares
I
to
had
that.
them on here. Yeah, they're awesome. Like the whole album was so sick.
Extremely sick, man. Loved it. And that's about it, man. Those are the two ones for me.
Okay.
And I really like the new Fawn Limbs thing also, the Darwin Falls one.
Oh really? Okay. Nice. I
That's
didn't
really,
I haven't heard too many people like bring that up as like album of the years, but yeah, that's definitely one that was like groundbreaking. You don't hear too many albums that are being narrated all the way through, so it's really
yeah, the narration part really caught my interest,
right. It's definitely something new.
Yeah, dude.
Well, I don't have too much else to ask. Is there anything that you wanted to say?
Well, the new That's Not Self Help EP is out on Spotify and all other streaming platforms. So please go ahead and stream. That's all I have to say.
Alrighty, man. So if you're looking for some jazzy progressive metal, you need to check out Weak Neediness, the debut EP from That's Not Self Help, which came out last month. You're on Facebook, Instagram, Bandcamp, YouTube, and all streaming platforms. Am I missing any kind of social media stuff there?
Nah, man, you got it all correct this time.
Alrighty. Any interest in getting a TikTok going?
Dude, you won't believe this, but TikTok is banned in India, man.
What is it? Oh my god, really? Why?
I don't know, man. India had some sort of beef with China and stuff.
Dude, that's wild. What the fuck? That's
Not
crazy.
just TikTok, they banned a lot of apps, man.
Huh. Interesting.
So
I guess something else to bring up. Are you gonna be making any more videos and stuff like for YouTube and things like that? Like any playthroughs or anything?
yeah, I have that in my mind, man. I'm thinking of doing like specific improv parts, in my songs.
Hmm.
I'm thinking of doing videos for that, the improvisation bits,
Hell yeah.
because I'm really comfortable with that. So
Yeah, awesome. I'd love to
that's
see
it.
you shredding the guitar. Like just hearing how it sounds, it's gotta look insane. You just like going up and down the neck. But as for
Thanks, man.
me, drop my channel, follow so you always know when I go live. You can also sub to get access to the interviews before they hit YouTube and streaming services, as well as get access to some exclusive emotes. You can also sub for free by attaching Amazon Prime to your Twitch account. Find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. YouTube folks, if you enjoyed the video, please drop a like, click the notification bell, and don't forget to subscribe. It's a great way to support me for free. Check out my music, The Sound Ends Creation, at thesoundendscreation.bandcamp.com. My album, Boomers, Zoomers, Desperate Coomers, is out now. My next guest is Space Grinders Worm Hero, who dropped their new album Project Asmodeus last Friday. Join us this Wednesday, the 11th at 12 p.m. Central for the live cast. Thanks for being here, Josiah. I hope you had a good. Thanks for being here, Josiah. I hope you had a good time.
I had a good time, man. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, and thank you guys for watching and listening.